All right, today we're waiting on the X controller in the mail. Got a lot of feedback from a lot of different people that have been installing these things, about 20 to 30% gains in torque, a little bit more of a top speed. So as we wait for ours today, I want to document some just really basic non-scientific and fun tests to see how it actually performs. What we're gonna do is we're gonna hit a small jump that the bike's parked on top of, get a start from a complete stop, apply full power in economy mode and sport mode, do some rolling jumps just to kind of see how much torque this is actually putting out to kind of push and launch over this little jump. So once we get the X controller in, we're going to go ahead and install that, basically video the same thing. I weigh about 220 pounds. The batteries, well, when we started doing this, was about 92%. I'm not even going to charge the battery, kind of give a disadvantage of the X controller just to kind of see, but want to show what the difference is. All right, before we even start, this is not to bash on the old controller. This bike has plenty of torque. It's a blast to ride. Really looking forward to this X controller if it just brings that much more, but even in its current form, it's still a lot of fun. I'm going to show you here, it has a tendency to try right off the gate to try to bring the front wheel up on you. Now, I weigh 220 pounds and the battery's about 90% right now, but if you watch it, if you give it just a little bit of throttle, it'll come right up on you. That's not even fully charged. So. Now, the new throttle is supposed to have a more linear, smoother power delivery, and people are estimating about 20 to 30% just by seat of the pants feel. So, as you guys see this video, it really is not bad the way it is. Being a dirt biker, used to a little bit more torque, but these things are, I can't say enough about how fun they are and what they can do. There's not really been anything that I haven't been able to throw at this bike that hasn't been able to take in stride and still be a great ride. All right, the first test we're gonna do is in economy mode. To be honest, I use economy mode most of the time when I'm riding and go to sport mode when it gets some hairy stuff or I really need to go faster. But for most purposes, 70% of the time I can stay in economy mode. But for the demonstration, kind of show you what it is and how it applies here. So we're going to start off from a dead stop in economy mode and we'll hit this jump. All right, coming back the other way. Doesn't feel like there's a whole lot there for making jumps and hitting stuff aggressively, but we'll do sport mode next. All right, now we're gonna get into sport mode. We're gonna do it from dead stop. We'll hit it and then we'll come back the other direction. Then we'll try some rolling launches. A little more pep that time. I will say the battery is about 80% in between clips. I have been goofing around on it. Still a pretty big difference. Sport mode is great when you need to hit some hard stuff, hills and whatnot, and I can hit about 45 miles an hour according to this speedometer. I just recently hit 30 miles an hour on a slight downhill slope in economy. Like I said, most of the time I run economy just to save some battery life. Next we'll do a rolling start try to target about 8 miles an hour both directions and hit the jump in sport mode. Actually, correction. We're gonna do about 8 mile an hour start, then hit it in economy mode. Then second round, we'll do 8 miles an hour and hit it in sport mode. Okay, that was economy mode. That was actually about 10 miles an hour, so I'm gonna try to do the same thing in sport mode, about 10 miles an hour. When I hit the cone, pop the throttle. Again, a little more acceleration, a little more pickup, a lot of fun actually. So we'll go back and do it at 15 miles an hour. All right, we're gonna go hit this jump about 15 miles an hour in sport mode. See what it does. Still has pretty good acceleration, hitting that about 15 miles an hour. Still fun. I even hit the big part of the jump. So I'm going to do one more coming this direction. All right, there we go. All right, first we're going to try this hill in economy mode. Haven't been able to get up in the past. Battery is 92% full. We'll give it a shot in economy mode. Don't think I'm going to make it, then I'll do sport mode. Not happening. All right, now we're going to come back down and hit sport mode, which is actually really cool. Sport mode, stop. All right, there's sport mode. Pretty badass. All right, went full throttle up there last time. Now I'm gonna just try to creep up it at a little bit slower speed without maxing out the throttle in sport mode. I don't know if you can see it from down here, but the front tire trying to come up when I was climbing. Didn't want to do a backward somersault. Installed, initial impressions is the big stupid grin on my face. I was saying earlier that in the economy mode that I could do about 30 miles an hour off a full charge. I just tried it with this 82% charge. Maxed out about 27. So I have heard that it is a little softer on the top speed on economy mode, which is fine. It seems, just my impression, it seems like it has a little more zip in economy mode than it did before, just a lesser top speed. But right now in sport mode, it's hard to explain the power difference. It's smoother. Earlier in the video I demonstrated how the other bike would bring, or the other controller would bring up the front wheel. This one does the same thing. I mean, but it's a little more adamant about bringing the front end up, as demonstrated here. Caught me off guard a little bit there. Aim from roll and stop it. So it pulls it up a little bit more. I'd say about 20% increase does feel right. So we're going to run real quick through the same test from a stop in economy mode, and then from a stop in sport mode, and then probably just one at 15 miles an hour to see the difference. All right, this is economy mode from the cone. Coming back the other way. Hard to say if there's any real difference there. It feels like it starts a little softer, but it also feels like it pulls a little bit harder as it gets moving, just slightly. Barely noticeable, but I would say it is a little bit softer. We'll go ahead and do the sport mode from the stop. All right. Sport mode from the stop. Yeah, it definitely feels has a little more power, as having to put a little more weight up front to keep the front end from coming up. Maybe this jump pump isn't the best way to test it, but it does feel like it launches pretty quick over it compared to the first time. Now we'll do a running at 15. Economy mode, once it does get moving, it does feel like it has a little bit smoother power pull on there. Again, I mean, we're talking minor differences here. Do the sport mode at 15 now. Have it. It does seem to have a little more get up and go. I actually really like it so far. The power is smoother. Haven't done a top speed run yet. I'll probably do that here shortly, and another hill climb with this one, see how it does. All right, same hill, but with the X controller. Battery's at 76%, so I think it was a little bit lower this time than it was last time. I'm gonna try it again in economy mode, see how far it gets from a stop. This time I'm actually gonna try to get a little bit of a run at it in economy mode too and see what happens. Here we go with economy mode. Seem to make it a little bit further than the other controller. Still feels smoother, so now we'll kick into sport mode. Sport mode. Seems a little bit quicker coming up there. It was cool, just a little bit harder. I'm going to try the crawl mode coming up in sport. Regenerative braking. So that seemed, the other one actually did really well, but that seemed to just have a little more imp coming up at 2. If I had to guess right now, I would say 20 is probably accurate, depending on the application. I know on the launch, just pulling the wheelies earlier, kind of startled me how much harder it pulled up, but all in all, I think it's a pretty good deal. I'm time to go play a little bit. Just a little bit of throttle, it'll come right up on you. Final thoughts, that X controller definitely does feel more powerful. It definitely accelerates a little bit quicker, higher top speed. I just confirmed 49 on my little speedometer with 69% battery, which I couldn't do 43, 44 with that in the past. The economy mode does seem a little lighter, but at the higher speeds it seems to have a little more go at the higher speeds, but starting off is a little softer. All in all, I think it's a great upgrade. I really enjoy it, but for those of you that don't have access to one, aren't going to get one, stock bike's just fine. It does just as well. I love having this on there now, but I've been just as happy with the other one.